Zara Bello's mirror never lied. It told her she was too beautiful for work. Every morning in the Bello household began with the sound of clattering plates and running water, but never from Zara's room. While her mother, Mama Funke, scrubbed, swept, and sang softly to herself, Zara sat before her glowing mirror, surrounded by bottles of perfume and tubes of lip gloss. Her reflection smiled back at her. Tall, light-skinned, eyes like polished glass, and lips always glossed to perfection. Zara tilted her head, admiring every curve of her face. "Who needs chores?" she murmured, "when you look like this?" From the kitchen, her mother's voice carried through the house. "Zara, come and help me wash these plates. Or are your hands made of gold?" Zara sighed loudly. "Mommy, I'm coming," she replied, knowing full well she wouldn't move an inch. Instead, she picked up her phone and began scrolling through her messages. Dozens of compliments flooding her screen. "You're so fine. If I marry you, I will never stress you. Queen Zara, Lagos' most beautiful." She smiled proudly. This was her world. Attention, admiration, and adoration. Moments later, Mama Funke entered the room, her wrapper tied tightly around her waist, beads of sweat glistening on her forehead. She looked at her daughter, still seated before the mirror, dressed like she was going for a photo shoot. "Zara," she shook her head, "you are always in front of this mirror. Come and learn how to cook. What will you do when you get married?" Zara turned slowly, her tone dripping with confidence. "Mommy, I won't need to cook. My husband will have maids. I'll live a soft life. Look at me. I'm not made for kitchen stress." Mama Funke frowned. "Beauty fades, my daughter. When love gets hungry, beauty cannot fill his stomach." Zara rolled her eyes. "Mommy, I beg, that's old school talk. Times have changed. Men love fine women." Mama Funke sighed deeply, shaking her head. "You think men marry only with their eyes? No, my child. They marry with their stomach, their heart, and their peace of mind. If you can't give him those, beauty will become irritation." Zara stood up, her long hair bouncing as she spoke. "Mama, I'm not like you. I'm different. You suffered too much. I'll never live like that." Her mother's heart ached at those words. "I pray you never see the kind of suffering that teaches humility," she whispered under her breath as she walked back to the kitchen. But Zara didn't hear. She was too busy taking another selfie. That evening, the sun melted into the Lagos skyline, painting the sky gold. The sound of car horns and chatter filled the air. Mama Funke was sitting outside on a small wooden bench, peeling yams, when a sleek black car parked by their gate. A tall, dark-skinned man in a tailored suit stepped out. He had the confident air of a man who had seen success and was not afraid to show it. He smiled politely. "Good evening, ma. My name is Chike Okafor. I'm here to see Zara." Mama Funke wiped her hands and raised her eyebrows. "To see my daughter? Hope all is well." "Yes, ma. I met her at a friend's birthday party 2 weeks ago. I've not been able to get her off my mind since then." Before Mama Funke could reply, Zara appeared at the door, glowing in a short floral dress, her smile bright enough to make Chike's heart skip a beat. "Chike!" she exclaimed, pretending to be surprised. "You didn't tell me you were coming." Chike laughed softly. "I wanted to surprise you." Mama Funke watched them closely, noticing the sparkle in Zara's eyes. Zara had never looked so excited to see anyone. They all went inside. Mama Funke served drinks, sitting quietly as the two talked. Chike spoke about his business, his travels, and his dreams. Zara listened, eyes shining with admiration. "So," Chike said, looking straight at Mama Funke, "I know it's early, but I'm serious about your daughter. I want to make her my wife." Zara gasped and covered her mouth with delight. "Chike!" Mama Funke blinked in surprise. "You mean you want to marry her?" "Yes, ma. I found peace around her. She's beautiful, graceful, and I believe she'll be the perfect woman for me." Mama Funke's heart swelled with mixed feelings, joy for her daughter and fear for what she might face. She smiled faintly. My son, thank you. But beauty is not everything. I hope you see beyond that. Chike nodded politely. Of course, ma. Zara, meanwhile, barely heard her mother's warning. Her mind was already painting pictures of a grand wedding, a luxurious house, and servants waiting on her. When Chike left that evening, she turned to her mother, grinning from ear to ear. You see, Mama, I told you, my beauty just brought my future to the door. Mama Funke looked at her daughter, proud yet fearful. Zara, listen to me. A man's love is sweet at first, but when life tests it, character is what keeps it alive. Don't depend only on your face, my daughter. Learn something. Learn how to make your home. Zara kissed her mother's cheek, laughing. Mama, stop worrying. I'll be fine. You will see. Mama Funke watched her daughter disappear into her room, whispering quietly, I hope you are right, my child. I truly hope you are right. Inside her room, Zara opened her mirror once again. The same reflection smiled back at her, flawless, confident, radiant. She smiled at herself and whispered, Beauty never fails. But deep in her mother's heart, a silent fear grew stronger. The news of Zara's engagement spread through her street faster than Lagos gossip. Neighbors stopped by daily, some out of joy, some out of jealousy. Zara basked in the attention. New clothes, new hairstyles, and endless talk of wedding plans. Every morning, she scrolled through bridal pages, choosing gowns and decorations that would make her wedding the talk of Lagos. Mama Funke, however, was uneasy. One evening, she sat in the living room sewing a piece of fabric when Zara strolled in wearing a sparkling robe. Her hair was tied up, her nails freshly painted. She sat opposite her mother scrolling through her phone, grinning at comments on her engagement photos. Mommy, see, 10,000 likes in one day. People are saying I'm the most beautiful bride to be in Lagos. Mama Funke smiled faintly, but didn't look impressed. Likes don't cook food, my daughter. Those people won't help you when marriage starts showing its true colors. Zara frowned. Mommy, stop talking like that. You should be happy for me. I'm marrying a rich man who loves me. I'll never suffer. Mama Funke sighed deeply. Zara, my daughter, love without sense is like soup without salt. I've seen many girls who thought like you. Marriage is not a beauty contest. A home must be built with patience, humility, and hard work. Zara rolled her eyes. Mommy, I beg, this is 24th century Lagos, not your village story. I'll have maids. Everything will be fine. Her mother put down her needle and looked straight into her eyes. Zara, when you ignore wisdom, life will teach you through pain. Don't say I didn't warn you. Zara chuckled softly, unconcerned. Mama, please relax. You worry too much. Mama Funke shook her head. I am a mother. That's my job, to worry. Just promise me one thing. Respect your husband and learn small things that keep your man's heart warm. Cooking, cleaning, caring. They may sound old-fashioned, but they are powerful. Zara leaned over, hugged her mother lightly, and whispered, I'll be fine, you will see. But Mama Funke was not convinced.
Weeks later, Lagos was alive with wedding excitement. Posters with Zara and Chike's smiling faces covered walls across the city. The ceremony was held in a grand hall filled with chandeliers, soft music, and guests dressed in glittering fabrics. Zara stood at the center of it all, radiant in a white gown that shimmered under the lights. Every eye was on her, and she loved it. Her groom, Chike, couldn't stop smiling either. He looked proud as he held her hand, whispering, You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Zara beamed. Of course I am, she thought. As they exchanged vows, Mama Funke sat in the front row, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. She was happy for her daughter, yet her heart trembled. She could only pray silently, God, please let this beauty come with wisdom. The reception was grand. Food, music, laughter. Cameras flashed endlessly as Zara danced gracefully, her gown flowing behind her like a wave. Guests cheered. Social media buzzed. Hashtag Zara and Chike forever began trending that evening. That night, in their hotel suite, Zara sat before a large mirror again, brushing her hair while Chike watched her from the bed. "Do you ever get tired of looking at yourself?" he teased. Zara laughed softly. "How can I? Beauty like this doesn't come every day." Chike smiled and shook his head. "You're something else, Zara. But don't forget, marriage is not all about looks. You'll have to help me build a home too." Zara turned, her tone light but defensive. "I'll help you by making our home beautiful, like me." Chike chuckled, thinking she was joking. He didn't know how serious she was. A few months later, the newlyweds settled into Chike's luxury apartment in Lekki. It was everything Zara had ever dreamed of. Sparkling floors, a walk-in closet, maids cleaning every corner, and meals arriving at her table without lifting a finger. Zara's days were filled with relaxation. She spent hours taking pictures, attending social events, and shopping. She'd wake up late, eat breakfast in bed, and scroll endlessly through her feeds. Sometimes, when the maids tried to ask her preferences for meals or cleaning schedules, she'd wave them off. "Do whatever you like, just don't disturb my peace," she'd say. When Mama Funke visited one weekend, she noticed the change immediately. Her daughter didn't step into the kitchen once. The maids did everything while Zara sat on the couch, painting her nails. Mama Funke's heart sank. "Zara," she said softly, "don't you at least help your maids? You can't depend on them for everything." Zara smiled lazily. "Mommy, this is how rich people live. I don't need to stress myself." Her mother looked around the perfectly clean house and said quietly, "One day, this luxury may test you. I just hope you'll be ready." Zara giggled. "Mama, you worry too much. Nothing will change." Mama Funke sighed and shook her head. "My child, you can't see tomorrow. Just remember my words." As she left that evening, she turned back to look at her daughter, sitting comfortably on a velvet sofa, sipping juice through a straw and smiling into her phone camera. For the first time, Mama Funke felt a cold shiver of fear. She whispered under her breath, "If only beauty could sweep floors, my daughter will be safe." That night, Zara lay in bed beside her husband, humming softly as she scrolled through social media. Chike was quiet, lost in thoughts. He had received a troubling call earlier that day, a business deal gone wrong, an investor backing out. But he didn't tell Zara. He turned to look at her, beautiful as ever, untouched by worry, and wondered if she could ever handle real hardship.
Morning sunlight streamed into the Okafor apartment, bouncing off glass walls and silver furniture. A soft aroma of coffee filled the air. In the master bedroom, Zara stretched lazily, wrapped in silk sheets. Her phone buzzed, messages, notifications, and compliments. She smiled. See my life," she murmured. "This is how I was born to live." Outside, the maids were already at work, one dusting the shelves, another ironing clothes, and a third setting the breakfast table. Zara's voice echoed from the bedroom. "Mary, make sure my coffee has oat milk, and put enough honey this time." "Yes, ma," the maid called out. Zara lay back, scrolling through her messages as her long hair spilled across the pillow. Her morning ritual was always the same: skincare, selfies, and compliments. At exactly 10 a.m., she finally stepped out of bed, wrapped in a pink robe, and walked towards her dressing table. Her reflection met her halfway, glowing like always. "Good morning, beautiful," she whispered to herself, smiling. In the living room, Chike sat at the dining table, a cup of tea untouched before him. His laptop screen glowed with figures and charts, numbers that didn't look good. He had been staring at them for an hour, his brow furrowed. Zara floated into the room, perfume filling the air. "Morning, my love," she said sweetly, kissing him on the cheek. "You didn't wake me up?" He smiled faintly. "You looked peaceful." Zara sat down and began buttering her toast lazily. This life is sweet. We're truly blessed, baby." He smiled again, though his heart was heavy. He didn't want to spoil her morning. "Yes, we are," he he said quietly, closing the laptop. But behind that calm smile was fear, business debts, delayed payments, and an investor who had started pulling out. Zara's days rolled by in a golden blur. She worked late, shopped online, and visited luxury salons. The maids took care of everything: meals, laundry, cleaning. Sometimes, when Chike came home, he would find her asleep on the couch with a magazine on her lap while the TV played quietly in the background. "Zara, how was your day?" he'd ask. She would stretch and yawn. "Tiring, oh. I had a facial appointment, then I had to go shopping. Lagos traffic is stressful." He would smile weakly, shake his head, and go into his room to check his bills. One Saturday, Mama Funke came to visit. She stepped into the house and froze. Everything was spotless: marble floors, shining windows, a chandelier hanging like frozen light. The maids greeted her politely, but her daughter was sitting in the middle of it all, scrolling through her phone, unmoved by the chaos of the maids cleaning around her. "Zara!" Mama Funke exclaimed. "You're just sitting there? You can't even help them small?" Zara looked up lazily. "Mommy, please, that's what I pay them for. I can't be sweating like a maid in my own house." Mama Funke frowned. "You've changed, Zara. You don't even look like the girl I raised." Zara laughed lightly. "I've upgraded, Mama. You should be happy for me." Her mother shook her head. "Money can finish, but the value of a good woman never ends. Don't depend on these maids. Learn something, even small." Zara waved her hand dismissively. "Mama, relax. Chike can never go broke. He's a smart businessman." Mama Funke's voice lowered. "My daughter, pride is like perfume, sweet at first, but it can choke you if you don't know when to stop." But Zara wasn't listening. She had already returned her gaze to her phone. That night, Chike sat alone in the study, staring at his computer screen. Numbers, debts, and emails glared back at him. The company he had built from scratch was sinking fast. He buried his face in his hands, sighing heavily. "God, how do I tell her?" he whispered. He thought about Zara, her carefree laughter, her obsession with beauty, her refusal to even lift a broom. If things got worse, he thought, how would she cope? He closed his laptop and went to bed, pretending everything was fine. The next morning, Zara was choosing jewelry when she noticed Chike sitting quietly on the bed. "You look worried," she said, adjusting her earrings. "I'm fine, love. Just work stress." "You should relax more," she said, barely looking at him. "Or maybe we should travel. I saw a spa resort in Dubai." "Zara, we need to slow down on spending for now," he interrupted, gently. She turned, surprised. "What do you mean? Are you broke?" He sighed. "No, not broke, but business is tight. I need to cut costs a bit." Zara laughed nervously. "You're joking, right? We can't start living like poor people." He stood up, frustrated. "I'm not saying we're poor. I'm saying we need to be wise." She pouted, turning back to the mirror. "You worry too much. Everything will be fine." But everything wasn't fine. That week, Chike came home later than usual every night. His shoulders slumped, his eyes tired. The laughter that once filled their house began to fade. One evening, Zara heard him on the phone, his voice low and tense. "Yes, I understand, but please give me 2 more weeks. I'll make the payment." When he hung up, he found Zara standing at the door, frowning. "Who was that?" she asked. He hesitated. "Just business." She folded her arms. "I hope this business won't spoil my peace." He looked at her, perfectly dressed, face glowing, nails polished, and sighed deeply. "Zara, do you ever think about what you'd do if we didn't have all this?" She laughed. "That can never happen." Chike looked at her for a long moment. "I pray you are right," he said softly, and walked away. That night, as Zara fell asleep in her expensive silk sheets, she didn't see Chike sitting by the window, his phone glowing in the dark. An email notification popped up. Final notice, loan repayment due in 5 days. He rubbed his temples and whispered to himself, "It's time to let the maids go." The morning started quietly, too quietly.
Zara woke up expecting to hear the usual clatter of plates, the hum of the vacuum cleaner, and the smell of breakfast floating from the kitchen. But today, there was only silence. She sat up, blinking. "Mary!" she called. "Joy? Where is everybody?" No answer. She frowned, slipped into her slippers and walked through the corridor. The kitchen was empty. No sound of cooking, no aroma of coffee. The living room looked strange, too still, too quiet. Zara's voice grew sharper. "Mary! Joy! What's going on in this house?" Then she noticed it. 3 folded aprons neatly placed on the counter, with a note on top. Her eyes scanned the note quickly. "Madam, Oga said we should stop work. He said he can't pay us again. Thank you, ma." Zara froze. "What nonsense is this?" she muttered, her heart beating faster. Just then, Chike walked in from the balcony looking tired and drained. His shirt was half-buttoned, his face heavy with stress. "Good morning," he said quietly. Zara held up the note. "What is the meaning of this, Chike? Where are my maids?" He sighed deeply. "Zara, please sit down. We need to talk." She crossed her arms. "I'm not sitting until you explain this madness." Chike rubbed his forehead. "My business, it crashed, Zara. The investors pulled out. I've been struggling to keep things going, but I can't anymore. I had to let the maids go." Zara laughed nervously. "You're joking, right?" He shook his head slowly. "I wish I was." Her laughter stopped. "So what now? Who will cook? Who will clean? Who will do everything?" Chike looked at her, almost in disbelief. "Zara, you're my wife. We will manage together." Her mouth fell open. "Manage? Me? You expect me to wash plates, sweep floors, cook?" Chike's voice grew firm. "Zara, this is real life. We can't afford luxury right now." She turned away, shaking her head. No, I didn't sign up for this. You promised me a soft life." Chike's patience finally snapped. "And I gave it to you, but life changed. What do you want me to do? Steal?" Zara's eyes filled with tears. "You ruined everything." He stared at her, pain and disappointment mixing in his eyes. "Zara, I lost money, not my soul. But I think you lost your heart long ago." That day, the house felt like a stranger's home. Zara sat on the couch, staring at the dishes piling in the sink, the unmade bed, the dusty floor. She tried to call her mother, but stopped halfway. What would Mama say? Her pride won't let her admit she was struggling. By evening, hunger started biting. She opened the fridge, empty. For the first time in her marriage, she had to enter the kitchen herself. She stared at the pots, confused. How did they even light this gas again? She murmured, fumbling with the knob. After several failed attempts, she managed to boil rice, or what was supposed to be rice. It came out half-cooked and sticky. When Chike came home, she served it proudly, forcing a smile. "At least, I tried." He looked at the food, then at her face. "Thank you," he said softly, though the rice was almost inedible. Zara noticed his forced smile, and for the first time, guilt pricked her heart. The next few weeks were a nightmare. The once spotless house now looked like a dumping ground. The living room was scattered, the bathroom smelled, and laundry piled up. Zara tried, but everything she did ended in disaster. She burnt food, she broke plates, she even fainted once from exhaustion while trying to mop the floor. Chike watched helplessly. He still loved her, but he was tired of the chaos, the constant complaints, the endless arguments. One night, after a long silence, he finally said what had been burning in his chest. "Zara," he said quietly, "this isn't working." She looked up sharply. "What do you mean?" "I mean us. The love is gone, the peace is gone. Every day feels like punishment." Her lips trembled. "You can't leave me. You promised forever." He sighed deeply. "I did, but forever can't survive without effort." She turned away, tears streaming down her cheeks. "No, Chike, please. I'll change. I'll learn. I'll do better." But it was too late. The damage was deep. The next morning,
He packed his bags. A week later, Zara sat opposite Barrister Adeyemi, the family lawyer. He was calm but direct. "Mrs. Okafor, your husband has filed for divorce. He claims irreconcilable differences." Zara's voice was barely a whisper. "Is there nothing I can do?" The lawyer looked at her sadly. Sometimes, love isn't enough when pride builds walls. Zara buried her face in her hands, sobbing. Back at her mother's house, Zara sat in her old room, the same one she had once refused to clean, the same walls that had heard her laughter years ago. Mama Funke entered quietly carrying a tray of food. She set it down and looked at her daughter. "Zara," she said softly, "I warned you." Zara nodded slowly, tears rolling down her cheeks. "You did, Mama. I thought beauty was enough." Her mother sat beside her, holding her gently. Beauty can open doors, but character keeps them open. Zara sobbed harder, her voice breaking. "I lost everything, Mama. My marriage, my pride, everything." Mama Funke stroked her head gently. "No, my daughter. You only lost what wasn't built on truth. Start again, this time with humility." That night, as the rain fell softly outside, Zara stood by the window staring into the dark. The city lights blinked in the distance, reminding her of the life she once had, and the lesson she would never forget. The rain had stopped, but the night still carried a soft chill. Zara sat by her bedroom window in her mother's house, staring at her phone. The message from Chike blinked on the screen. "Can we meet tomorrow? There's something I need to say." Her fingers trembled slightly. It had been 3 months since the divorce papers were signed, 3 long months of regret, loneliness, and quiet reflection. She whispered to herself, "Maybe he wants to forgive me, or maybe he just wants closure." Either way, she knew she had to face him, not as the proud, beautiful wife she once was, but as the humbled woman she had become.
The next day, Zara woke up early for the first time in years. She swept the floor, helped her mother cook, and even washed her own clothes. Mama Funke watched quietly from the corner of the kitchen. She said softly. "So you finally know how to hold a broom." Zara smiled weakly. "I had to learn the hard way, Mama." Her mother nodded slowly. "That's how life teaches the proud. Not through books, but through brokenness." Zara sighed deeply. "I just hope Chike will see that I've changed." Mama Funke placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Don't go begging for love, my daughter. Go to speak your truth. If it's meant to be, it will return." Later that afternoon, Zara arrived at the cafe in Victoria Island where Chike had asked to meet. She wore a simple blue dress, no makeup except for lip balm. Her hair was tied neatly, her face calm but nervous. When she entered, Chike was already there, sitting by the window, a cup of tea in his hand. He looked up. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Chike smiled faintly. "You look different." Zara returned a small smile. "I've had to grow up." They sat in silence for some seconds, both unsure how to begin. Finally, Chike spoke. "Zara, I didn't call you here to reopen wounds. I just wanted to check on you. You were my wife once. I still care as a person." She nodded slowly. "Thank you. I deserve that much." He hesitated, then asked quietly, "How have you been?" Zara looked down. "At first I was angry. At you, at myself, at life. But now, I'm just grateful. The pain taught me what pride never could." Chike listened quietly, his eyes soft. Zara continued. "You were right about everything. I thought beauty could build a home. I thought comfort would last forever. But when everything disappeared, I realized I had nothing left. Not even the skills to take care of myself." Her voice cracked slightly. "You don't know how many nights I cried, wishing I'd listened to you and to my mother." Chike's eyes glistened. "Zara," he whispered. She raised her hand slightly, stopping him.
Don't pity me. I just needed you to know I've changed. I cook now. I clean. I even wake up before sunrise. I've learned that real women build, not boast. He smiled sadly. I'm glad you found yourself again. She looked at him deeply. Do you ever miss me? He hesitated. I miss the woman I thought you could be. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't look away. I understand. They sat quietly for a while, the sound of soft music filling the background. Then Chike spoke again, his tone gentle. Zara, I'm starting over. No business, smaller place, simple life. It is not the luxury we once had, but it's peaceful. Zara smiled faintly. Peace is worth more than gold. He looked at her, searching her face for something familiar. Maybe the spark he once loved. He saw it there, but gentler now, quieter. Maybe someday, when time heals more, we could try again. Not as the old Zara and Chike, but as no people who understand life better. Her heart skipped, but she didn't rush. She said, maybe, but for now, I want to keep learning to stand on my own. He nodded approvingly. That's the best thing you could say. When Zara returned home that evening, Mama Funke was waiting. How did it go? She asked. Zara smiled softly. It went well. We talked. I think he forgave me. Her mother's face softened. And you? Have you forgiven yourself? Zara paused for a moment, then nodded. Yes, for the first time, I have. Mama Funke pulled her daughter into a hug. You've grown, my child. Now you understand what I tried to teach you all those years. Zara whispered, Yes, Mama. Beauty may catch a man's eye, but only character can keep his heart. Months passed, and Zara slowly rebuilt for life. She started a small home service business, cleaning, cooking, and organizing homes for busy families. At first, people were surprised. Zara, the fine girl, doing chores? But she smiled and kept working. Each day made her stronger, humbler, and more fulfilled. One afternoon, while cleaning an office space, she received a message on her phone. It was from Chike. I'm proud of you. Keep shining. Zara smiled, her eyes misty. She replied simply, Thank you. I finally understand what real beauty means. That night, as she sat with her mother on the porch watching the Lagos lights twinkle, she whispered softly, Mama, do you know something? What is it, my daughter? Zara smiled. Laziness destroyed my marriage, but hard work rebuilt my soul. Her mother nodded proudly. And that, Zara, is the kind of beauty that never fades.
Moral lesson. True beauty is not in the face, but in the heart that serves with love. Laziness and pride can destroy what love builds, but humility and hard work can rebuild any life, one day at a time. Do you believe love can survive pride? Let's rub minds together.